Welcome to this week's video cast. We apologize for not producing a video cast last weekend. Due to a corrupted memory card, we lost everything that we did. So to give you a quick instant replay of what it was last week, we gave a nice update for our great sponsor, Walser Automotive. We got in and talked about a little bit about Fargo. I'm going to give you a quick little, just to prove that we didn't erase the board. We talked about the pin bracket challenge, which we wrote an article on this week. We predicted that West Fargo would have the best pin or most popular pin. If you read our article, they did not win, but they were definitely a finalist for great pins. We predicted Rosemount to win, which we got right. Congratulations to Rosemount. We predicted Edina Green as a dark horse. They got all the way to the Final Four, which was a pretty good pick. And finally, we picked Woodbury as a long shot, a great team, that only team to tie Rosemount all year. We picked them as a long shot because they had a really tough bracket. They ended up losing in the second round to a really good Wool Road team. So not bad. We didn't have a bad. Too bad we didn't lose the memory card in that one because we had a pretty good week on the predictions. We also talked a little bit about, I called them district dreamers, teams that had great tournaments last week in the districts. Roseville Pee Wee B came this close to being a number 8 seed, now making all the way to regions. Jefferson's Pee Wee AA team knocked off number 9 rated Prior Lake and made it to regions. And the two Crow River teams made it to state, Bantam A and Pee Wee A. They had great tournaments in the District 3 districts, so tournaments last week. So that's what we talked about last week. This week we're going to talk about, obviously we're going to talk about Walser and the 14 great brands that they represent and the $13.95 oil change. Check those out on our site. That oil change expires at the end of the month. Also, we're going to talk about the, coming up in the next segment, I'm going to go over my picks from the Pee Wee AA regions, how many I got right, how many I got wrong, and then we're going to go through all the picks, Pee Wee B, Pee Wee A, Pee Wee AA, Bantam B, Bantam A, and Bantam AA. We're going to pick all the regional champions for all of those different regions. So stay tuned to the rest of the video. I hope you enjoy it. All right, part 2 of today's video is devoted to the Pee Wee AA regionals picks that I made a couple weeks ago. Let's go back and check my scores. I left it up on the whiteboard here. Let's go over each district by district. District 2 got one wrong. It was Roseville. They were ousted by Forest Lake. And Forest Lake, oddly enough, beat Stillwater in the seeding game. So Forest Lake goes here, and Stillwater goes to the south. Osseo Maple Grove and Wayzata played at a best 2 out of 3 game series. Wayzata got the number 1 seed, Osseo the 2 seed. District 5, I got one wrong here. Mammal was ousted by Buffalo, oddly enough, and River Lakes beat Buffalo. So River Lakes is going to the South region. In District 6, I got one wrong here too. Prior Lake was beaten by Jefferson, and Minnetonka got the 3 seed. They beat Jefferson in a seeding game. So this one I got one wrong as well. So Jefferson goes here. In District 8, I got one wrong too. Lakeville North did not even make it to regions. They were out. Eastview took their spot in the 2nd spot. Egan, another one that I got wrong, went here in number 3. Hastings was 4 and Woodbury was 5. Up District 9, no choices. I got a couple wrong here. In District 10, Elk River was not the number 2 seed, but they were the number 5 seed. And Irondale St. Francis did not advance. Blaine moves to number 2. And Andover was 3. And another surprise was Rogers at number 4. They had a really nice tournament. Duluth East number 1, that stays the same. Hermantown 2, Cloquet 3, Grand Rapids and Hibbing 1 and 2, Brainerd 1, Moorhead 2 in District 15, and Bemidji 1 and Roseau 2 in District 16. So I predicted I'd get 3 wrong. Looks like I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 choices wrong. So Tough tournament. Looks to be a great region coming up here. In our next segment, we're going to pick all of the regional winners from Pee Wee B all the way up to Bantam AA. All right, here goes nothing. We're going to go from left to right. We're going to try to predict all 48 of the seeds to the state tournament from the Pee Wee B level all the way up to the Bantam AA level. Going 3-letter acronyms for most of the teams and a little commentary, a few sleepers along the way. So here we go. North Region, number 1. Number 3 rated in the state, Halleck. Number 2, Grand Rapids. And our sleeper is Bemidji Blue. They had a great run last year at Pee Wee B's. In the South Region, Sartell. Doesn't sound very south to me. Rochester Red. Now that sounds south. And our sleeper is going to be Rochester Black. In the East Region, the toughest region in the state, I'll be commenting on that throughout the entire video. Edina, number 1 in the state. Number 2 in the state, Johnson Como. Those are easy ones. And then my sleeper, the winner out of District 2 this past weekend, Highland Central. Congratulations to the Capitals on a nice run. West Region, another easy one, North Metro. And Minneapolis Purple. And our sleeper is Wadena. Moving on to Pee Wee Single A, North Region. Duluth Denfeld, a really nice team up there with some good quality wins against AA teams. Virginia is our number 2 and our sleeper, Warroad. They've had a very quiet but very nice year. Watch out for Warroad this year in this tournament. South Region, Owatonna has had a great season, top 10 almost all year. Followed by New Ulm Sleepy Eye, the Noose. They're a tough squad. And then finally Mankato, another team that's been in our top 10 a lot of the season. East Region, it's a real tough one. Number 1 rated Edina. Followed by Sibley. Unfortunately, these two teams, because of an upset in the district, have to play in the first round. Some would argue they're the 2 best teams in the state. They're playing the first round. I still think the loser of the Sibley-Edina game makes it all the way back and wins. And then speaking of sleepers, the winner of District 8 is Cottage Grove. They are no longer a sleeper to anybody. They had a great district run. Congratulations to them. In the West Region, another top 5 team all year, Orono, with its partner in crime in the East. In the District 3 is Minneapolis. And then a sleeper is Detroit Lakes. Really nice skating team up there. Let's get to AA North. Grand Rapids, Duluth East, 2 really strong teams, great big kids and nice team. Another team, this is hardly a sleeper, is Hermantown, the reigning runners-up at the Pee Wee A level last year. South Region, no surprises here. St. Michael Albertville, a really strong team. Speaking of strong and big, St. Cloud. Big squad. They got a good skating team. I'm going sleeper. Hardly calling any team from District 6 a sleeper, but we'll call Jefferson a sleeper there. In the East Region, I've made this comment all around. It's the toughest region in the state this year with the best teams. No different here. We got Edina, the number 1 team in the state, followed by this year's number 2 pretty much the whole season long, Lakeville South. And hardly calling anyone from White Bear Lake a sleeper, but they would be the sleeper in this really tough region. Other teams involved here, Minnetonka, Eden Prairie, Eastview, all of these teams bundled into one district or one region. It's kind of tough to pick, but those are our picks for today. Lastly, the West region, we got to go with Wayzata, followed by Centennial. 2 top 5 teams going to be pairing off. You got also Osseo Maple Grove in that region, but my sleeper here, hardly a sleeper. They've had a great season as the Brainerd Warriors. Let's move on to Bantams. Bantam B1 North Region. We're going to go International Falls, followed by Evelyn Gilbert Mesabi East. Nice club there. And then another Iron Range team, Another team from up there is Moose Lake. I made an error here. I read my paper incorrectly. The number 2 seed is going to be Duluth Denfeld. My error. Hopefully my only one in this video clip. In the South region, it's going to be St. Michael Albertville, followed by Rochester Red, and then Buffalo Black. In the East region, again, a really, really tough region here. Lots of top teams. We'll go first. We're going to go Stillwater Red, winning over its District 2 counterpart, White Bear Lake Orange, and the sleeper, hardly calling Lakeville South a sleeper in that region. There's just so many good teams in that region. Finally, in the West, another really good region. Lots of teams from District 3 will advance. We got Wayzata Navy, North Metro, and Wayzata Blue. Another really good team. 3 really good teams in Bantam Bees there. All right, let's move on to the Bantam A's in the North region. We got East Grand Forks, followed by Eveleth, Gilbert, Mesabi East. I knew I didn't miss them some way. I just had the wrong order. And our sleeper in that region is going to be Greenway. Nice team. They've had a great season. Next in the North region, in the South region is Hutch. They've had a great year. They've been top 10 for the last half of the season, followed by Sartell, and finally Owatonna. In the East region, a great region. Number 1 team in the state pretty much the entire season, Matamidi, followed by Edina. And again, hard to call a team from District 6 a sleeper, but we're going to go with Waconia. Another great team in there is Bloomington Kennedy. Going to the West region in Bantam A, Crow River, the surprise team out of District 3, followed by Spring Lake Park. They're on the same side of the bracket, so one of these teams is going to have to fight their way back. And then Hopkins is a sleeper out of District 3 in the West region. Now, last one. Let's see how we can do here. Bantam AA. North region, we're going to go with Grand Rapids, followed by Hermantown, and a really, really good team. We've covered these guys a little bit this year, Bemidji. They're X number of wins and only 4 losses all year. Careful of Bemidji in the North region. Next, at the South region, we're going to go Minnetonka as the number 1, followed by St. Michael Albertville. 2 really good teams. And then our sleeper from District 10 is going to be Blaine. In the East region, again, a really, really tough region. Edina number 1, although they come in as the number 2 seed, followed by Prior Lake. Especially pay close eye to that Prior Lake Stillwater game. I think the loser of that game comes back, and it's a really good game. These 2 teams might play again to see who goes to state. So Stillwater, Prior Lake, keep an eye on these 2 teams that could go one way or the other. Finally, we got Wayzata as our West region number 1, Elk River number 2, and Centennial. Again, these 2 teams have played many a time this year. They know each other very well. They probably will have to play one another again to get to state. I see Wayzata is cruising through that region. There we have it. We have 48 teams that will be going to state, Pee Wee B through Bantam A, Bantam AA, and then a few sleepers for you guys as well. I hope you enjoyed this segment. It's going to be a great weekend. We're going to be all over the state covering teams. I look forward to getting you guys scores and live updates and some commentary on all the games this weekend. Check in with our live blog. You can find out every score of every game in one spot, and we'll have one spot for Pee Wees and one spot for Bantams. Have a good weekend. We'll hope to see you around the rink.